me, you probably saw my video about Auschwitz, but today I want to talk about something completely different. I want to talk about slavery. I'm talking about American slavery of black people. For 400 fucking years, by the way. It was 400 years. And you're probably thinking, I already know all about this. We talk about this in school. I don't need to learn anymore. Well, let me tell you, we actually don't talk about this in school. We don't talk about the truth of it. So let me tell you some things that I learned while researching this. And it's not that hard to research. You just have to look it up. So fact check me if you want, but here we go. First one I wrote down, you probably heard the term motherfucker. Okay, and I'm not going to do any of that corny, like, grape stuff. I'm going to use the real words because those people deserve it. They deserve to not be graped or whatever the fuck. So, slave owners sometimes would force, this was a common occurrence, would force black men to rape their own mothers to publicly humiliate them and break their spirit. That's where the term motherfucker comes from. The term motherfucker comes from slavery and rape. I'm never going to use that term again. Once I found that out, I was so sick. Next up, the Atlantic slave trade, which we've all heard about, right? If you have like a public education, hopefully you've heard about this. It was so much worse than we could ever possibly imagine. And like, I mean that. Certain ships were actually invented to make it faster so that the slave traders could get more of a profit because people were dying too quickly on the ships. They had special made masts that were much higher. They were the fastest and biggest ships so that they could make a higher profit because people kept killing themselves and dying. And now let me add on to that, people committing suicide because the conditions were so horrible on the ship. They hadn't even made it to slavery yet. They hadn't made it to the plantations. And they were still killing themselves because they knew how bad it was going to be. Sharks literally changed their migration patterns because bodies were just thrown overboard once they died. However, the Atlantic slave trade officially ended in 1808, right? That was the law that was put in by the early United States government. But do you think that stopped it? No. Let me talk about the reverse Underground Railroad. A lot of Southerners went up north and they had these like gangs that would go and capture, they would kidnap black people. Even if they had never been a slave in their life, if they were escaped, no matter who they were, if you were black, they were going to try to kidnap you. They sold children, especially children, because they were easier to kidnap. It was just a big human trafficking thing. And it boggles my mind that we aren't, like, we don't really talk about this stuff in school, at least not at my school in Utah. And also, to counteract the end of the slave trade in 1808, you know what they did? They made breeding farms. And you can guess what that is. It was a rape farm. Girls as young as 13, I wouldn't be that shocked if it was younger, but at least girls and women as young as 13 were sent to special plantations that were exclusively made for breeding, making new people to enslave. And I also didn't know about this, and I don't know, I'm just fuming right now because, like, I knew it was bad, but, like, doing, like, a little bit of your own research makes you realize how horrible it was. Like so much worse than I ever imagined. Another one, you may have heard about this, but if you haven't, let me tell you, the white people, the slave owners, would use African American hair for cushions, for couches, for insulation. They pulled people's teeth that had pretty nice teeth, whatever. They would pull them and turn them into fucking dentures and sell them to rich white people. And you know who had those fucking dentures? George Washington. He had teeth pulled from his slaves to make his own fucking dentures. No, his teeth were not wooden. That's a fucking myth. His teeth were made from slaves' teeth. I mean, they turned their skin into leather. Another thing, they used these people as much as they could. It's horrifying. Obviously, they exploited them for labor. That's the one we all know. But they also used women in particular for fucking medical experimentation. Do you want to know the reason we know so much about women's gynecology? Is because of the fucking human experimentation that happened to black women in the 1800s and before. Also, the sheer amount of rape that women had to endure from their fucking masters or whatever, don't get me fucking started. But the amount of rape that happened within, not just on plantations, but like during the slave trade, during auctions, it's just so disgusting. I saw a study that said that 16% of all African Americans can trace their ancestry back to Europe, that is because of rape. 16% of all African Americans today. And this video is 5 minutes long. I've been talking for a minute. I haven't even scratched the surface on the cannibalism. It makes me so angry. And guess what? It didn't fucking end with the Emancipation Proclamation. That was a great start. But it didn't fucking end. You really think those people that owned other people were just like, oh, well, it's illegal now. I guess I have to let you all go. No, that didn't fucking happen. They kept their slaves. They weren't all just suddenly freed because the president told them they had to. Really, guys? And even the slaves that were freed, guess what? They underwent so much horrific stuff for the rest of their lives. The rest of their lives. People don't realize how common and how brutal and how horrific and depraved lynchings were. Like, it's so insane to me. Like, when people are like, why should I feel bad about this? I didn't own a slave. Well, look at your fucking family history, guys. I looked at my family history. Because I'm really into family history. I had like my 5th great grandpa or something was from Kentucky. And his fucking will says, to my son, I leave an African American girl. Well, I think he said Negro. I don't want to say that word though. Named Luda. And it just made me feel so disgusted at my own heritage. Like, the fact that people don't feel shame at all. The people are like, oh, well, whatever. Like, it's in the past. That bothers me so fucking bad. And guess what? It isn't that far in the fucking past. It's not that far in the fucking past. Fucking, the first black girl to go to an all-white school, she's younger than Trump. She has fucking Instagram and TikTok. I don't know. I'm sorry I'm so heated. I probably just sound so stupid. But I'm just so disgusted right now. Just, like, thinking about it. And, like, I've written some stuff down. Just, like, it just makes me so angry. It didn't end in 1863. It didn't end in 1865. Please, I want you to do your own research. I want you to find out as much as you can about this to understand how horrible it was. Because we truly have no idea. Anyways, rant over. I hope I didn't word anything poorly. Because I'm not thinking right now. I'm just kind of disgusted right now. So I hope that this wasn't too, sensitive. But yeah, that's it, guys.
Because this court will not.
An emotional sentencing in Kanawha County Circuit Court for a couple found guilty of a number of charges, including human trafficking, civil rights, and child abuse. This after investigators say Ginny Whitefeather and Donald Lance locked their children inside a closed-off area of a barn in Sissonville. The discovery made by sheriff deputies in October 2023. The couple addressing the court Wednesday.
I just like the court to know that I have made mistakes and I'm very sorry for that. And I love my children. I have never ever done anything to any one of my 8 children to harm them intentionally.
I'd just like to say to children, I do love you.
Those children also addressing the court through impact statements. The eldest child calling Whitefeather and Lance monsters and saying they were tortured mentally. Another one of the children saying, I will be something amazing. I will be strong and beautiful. You will always be exactly what you are. Horrible. Even the youngest child writing a letter that was read aloud.
Taught to laugh at my siblings and told they were bad. I was kept from them and watched all this stuff happen. Now in my new home, I see that everything was not right there with Jeannie and Donald.
Prosecutors making a plea for a penalty they believe fits the crime.
I ask you to remember that Jeannie Whitefeather and Donald Lance have provided these children with a life sentence. They are beautiful and wonderful children. I cannot say enough good about these children. But they will deal with the effects of Mr. Lance's and Miss Whitefeather's treatment for the rest of their lives.
The couple likely to spend the rest of their lives behind bars. The judge handing down a sentence of more than 200 years for Whitefeather and more than 150 years for Lance. She also left both with strong words.
That they will bear the psychological scars of what was done to them by you, Jeannie Whitefeather, and you, Donald Lance, for the rest of their lives.
Abby Lord, WSAZ, Kanawha County.
All right, Shalom, Israel. First and foremost, Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Rikakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone who will well in truth and sincerity. Shalom to the hopeful elect, beginning with the 144,000. Shalom. And this lesson will be titled, These Devils Have to Pay. Right? We will soon get our revenge, right? Get our vengeance upon these devils, man. Not only these devils, right? But the other nations as well. Right? But as y'all can just see in those two videos, right, how, Esau treated our people, right? And, to the family, the video says she had 8 children, but I know, when you going to and you look at the articles and things that said, she adopted 5, so-called black children to be slaves on a farm, right? And they were sentenced to 200 plus years, 150 years, whatever the case may be, right? And people might seem like they got their judgment or they got their punishment. There's nothing compared to what Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua, is going to do to not only them, but to the whole nation of Edom, right? Edom being who? The Edomites, Esau, the so-called white man, and, we call them the devils because what? Devil means deceive, right? Deceiver, right? That's what they did. They deceived the whole world, right? But, one of the videos in the first video, right, had a little, she looked like an Edomite, right? A little Edomite, woman, how she said, how people like, basically like it was of their fathers, like, then she was like, go back to your family history, right? And, basically see what was going on, right? And I'm gonna read this real quick. Isaiah 14:21. Prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, right? So just because you haven't did it, just because it's not that hardcore slavery and the times that we live in now, doesn't mean that you're going to get off the hook, right? Read it again from the top. Isaiah 14:21. Prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, man. Y'all forefathers, y'all people, right, put our people through straight torture, through straight hell, man. Things that you can't even imagine. It's things that y'all did to our people, right? Y'all feel like just because it was y'all grandparents and y'all great-great-grandparents and your father's things, that says that their iniquity is not going to fall upon you. No. Y'all got a thing coming for y'all ass too. Like you say, prepare for slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fear the face of the world with cities. All right, so soon, all right, I finish off at 22. It said, for I will rise up against them, said the Lord Yahweh of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, said the Lord Yahweh. Bahashim Yahushua. So the Lord is not finna play with y'all, man. And we finna go into the scriptures, right? Once again, man, these devils have to pay, right? These devils have to pay. And they be saying this for skin color and things of that sort. But this shit really goes all the way back into who? Jacob and Esau, right? And we know that Jacob and Esau is the reincarnation of who? Abel and Cain. And what did Cain do to his brother? He killed him. Right, same thing with Esau, right? Esau, it's like when we got the blessing from our forefather Isaac, right? There was like the cherry on top for Esau. That rubbed Esau the wrong way to where he wanted to kill us, right? We'll go to that real quick. I can't remember what chapter it said. I know how it go, but let me see. What's the best? Not that. Okay, so I thought it was the 27th verse. All right, so this is Genesis 27 and verse 41, right? and it reads, right? So, you know, the little backstory, right? Rebecca, our mother, told us to go to Isaac and get the blessing from our father, right? And what we did when we got the blessing, things that says while Esau was out hunting for the things that our father needed, right? Our mother told us where to go to get it. We got it with Isaac. Isaac, you know, blessed us with the blessing. All right, so now we got the birthright and the blessing, right? So then when that happened, right, it's what Esau felt in his heart. This is Genesis 27:41, and it reads, and Esau hated Jacob, Jacob being who? Israel, right? Israelites to this day. He said, because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him, and Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob, right? So it's been in his heart ever since to slay his brother Jacob, man. That's what they've been doing to our people, man. Non-stop, doing us the very worst way, right? That's why the Lord is going to punish y'all with the fucking sword destruction, man. Sword destruction, torture. Y'all gonna get done worse 10 times worse than what y'all did to us, man. 10 times worse, man. 10 times worse, man. And, you know, and it's just vexing to the spirit because, you know, these are people. These what, you know, we learn about what y'all did to our people, to us, to our ancestors, right? To our great-grandparents and things of that such, man. But, hey, everything has a due date, and you reap what you sow, right? We'll start off with the book of Zechariah. Just gonna bring out a couple precepts. You know, we know these devils going into slavery. All right, so I'm gonna just bring out a couple precepts, man. We'll get on through. This is Zechariah 2 and verse 8. And it reads, for this saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, after the glory hath he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you, meaning what? Which destroyed you, right? Which destroyed us, right? He said, for he that toucheth you, toucheth the eye of his so like he toucheth the apple of his eye. Meaning what? These other nations, man, they touch the Lord's apple. They touch the Lord's, you know, jury, the Lord's people, right? Like you say, he touches the apple of his eye, right? And let's go to that meaning, right? Let's go to that meaning. Does it mean to touch the apple of? Alright, go right here. It says to touch the apple of one's eye, mean to harm, threaten, or to interfere with someone or something that is cherished, loved, and protected above all others, right? That's what the Lord, that's what Esau did to the Lord's people, right? Let's see what it says. Oh yeah, I'm glad that popped up, right? So let's go to Deuteronomy. What was that, 30 and 10? That's another precept. Kind of 30 and verse 7, right? Okay, the Lord brought us over here, you know, for our punishment, you know, for going off and things of that sense. But Esau just went totally overboard, right? Like the scripture we just read in Zechariah, they touched the apple of the Lord's eye, meaning what? That we very precious to the Heavenly Father, right? We his chosen people, we like his jewelry, his jewels, right? And what they did to the Lord's people is unacceptable, right? That's why they gotta go extinct. Well, that's one of the many reasons why they gotta go extinct, and etc. Right? So this Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 7, and it reads, and the Lord Yahweh with thy power will put all these curses upon thy enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. So the tables will soon turn, right? The table will soon turn. We'll get the last laugh, right? We'll definitely get the last laugh. So let's grab Ezekiel, all right, chapter 25 and verse 14, because you gotta know and understand, right, that our anger is nothing compared to the Lord's anger, right? And yes, we mad now. We was able to get vengeance now, right? Our vengeance would be nothing compared to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua vengeance that he have towards Esau. Because what? The Lord hate Esau, right? The Lord can't stand on just as much as we can't stand on, if not more. Well, probably more, right? 9 times out of 10 more, right? Like you say, he angry with the wicked every day, and it's in the book of Psalms, right? So this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 25 and verse 14, and it reads, and I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel. So he's saying right there that he's going to get his vengeance, right? Not only him, us. All right, go furthermore, prove that. He said, and they shall do in Edom according to mine anger and according to my fury. So the Lord gonna let his people, right, what he say, shall do in Edom, or Salaki, and they shall do in Edom according to mine anger. So the things that we're gonna do to Esau, Edom, is according to the Lord's anger, right? He said, and according to my fury, right? So yes, we may be angry. Yes, we feel like oh, okay, yeah, I'm gonna make Esau do that. Man, that's nothing to what the Lord's gonna have us doing to these damn devils, man. I'll read it from the top. And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel, and they shall do in Edom according to mine anger, and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord. Power, saith the Lord Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua. Right, so they gonna know. They gonna know what he say. They shall know my vengeance, so they gonna know the Lord's vengeance. Right, they gonna highly regret the things that they did to his brother. Right, the things that they did to us. Right, so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Man, just understand that yes. All right, and since yes, we're going through these things. Even in our time, we're not getting wilt. Working on plantations and things of that such. But hell, we still living like a fucking slave, right? Fucking, you gotta go to work 5 days, 6 days a week. Some maybe even 4, but you work 4 of them, you working longer hours, right? You gotta work, you gotta pay all these bills, and we're living a miserable ass life, man. Just because you feel like you got somewhat freedom because you got a little car, a house, right? You able to move on your time accordingly. Right, you feel like you're free. You're not free. We're still in captivity. We still got to do everything under the so-called white man. They're still in authority. Right, we're still in their land. Man, this shit is corrupt. Right, these damn devils got everybody's lives miserable, man. Got everybody's lives miserable. But that's besides the point, man. We're going to... I'll continue on. Verse 15 say, this says the Lord Yahweh, because the Philistines have dealt by revenge and have taken vengeance with a despiteful heart to destroy it for the old hatred. Therefore, this says the Lord Yahweh, behold, I will stretch out my hand upon the Philistines. He say, and I will cut off the Cherethims and destroy the remnant of the sea coast, and I will execute great vengeance upon them with fierce rebukes, and they shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh, when I shall lay my vengeance upon them. Right, so the Lord is going to teach these damn devils, these Edomites, these Hamites, these Ishmaelites, these Moabites, all these other nations, his vengeance. Because why? Because they all had something to do with the Lord's people, right? With the slave trade, with killing us, with destroying us mentally, right? And things of that sense. Because Esau, Edom, right? If he could, he would have killed all of us. You feel me? He would have killed every single last one of us, man. But it was of the Lord's will that, we were scattered abroad. That's why some of us went into Egypt, fled into Egypt and, different parts of Africa, right, to hide from the Romans, right, to get away from the Romans, right? Because if not, man, it would have killed all of us, right? Because you already see how we done lost everything. But these devils trying to, they done stole everything that we had. They trying to damn steal the birthright and the blessing back. Right, so these damn devils have to be destroyed, man. They have to. All right, this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, verse 16. Say, therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured. Hey, that's self-explanatory. And all thy adversaries, and every one of them shall go into captivity, man. So they're just showing you right then and there that, when the Lord destroyed this place, then we're going to have slaves, right? So not everyone is going to be killed when Yahweh shall make his return. Because why? We got to have slaves. How's we going to have slaves if the Lord kills off everyone, right? So it says, shall go into captivity, and that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a praying. So once again, going back to that Deuteronomy chapter 30, that the tables are going to reverse. Right, we're going to get the last laugh. We're going to get our revenge that we've been seeking for forever and forever, man. Right, we're going to have our slaves. Our women going to have slaves. Right, hey, the things that we did us, we're going to do to them 10 times worse. Right, so I hope y'all enjoyed it, because now it's our turn, and when it's our turn, we ain't gonna take it lightly. We go whoop y'all ass 6 days out the motherfucking week, right? And then that 7th day on the Sabbath, right? We ain't gonna be able to touch y'all, but trust and believe we gonna find a motherfucking way, right? And I don't even want to use that word MF anymore, right? But hey, that's the anger that I have towards these people, man. Right? I have a true hatred towards Esau. Not only Esau, the other nations as well, man. But these damn devils did us the worst, so therefore we have to. I got the most hatred towards them, right? But I lost one of my train of thoughts. I can't think about it, right? But oh yeah, on that 7th day, right? How we gonna find a way, man? Even we can't, right? Beat you to death, or torture you, whatever the case may be. Y'all still gonna have nightmares to what we're gonna do to y'all, man. We might use our spiritual powers to make sure y'all have the most horrific nightmare ever. I just see where you can't even sleep. All right, so hope y'all prepared. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 14, straight to the point, verse 2. Right. And it reads, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place in the house of Israel. I started verse 1 and get the context. Isaiah 14:1, Salakia. For the Lord Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. Right, this is a future prophecy. He said, and the strangers shall be joined with them. Those strangers are what the Israelite foreigners, right? The ones that don't know that they're Israelites, right? He's saying they shall cleave to the house of Jacob, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord Yahweh for service and handmaid. So now who is this talking about? He's talking about the other nations, right? He says, for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, who captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors, right? So now it's talking about the other nations, right? And you want to talk about the other nations, our enemies, you go to the book of Psalms, the 83rd chapter, it give you who all our enemies are, right? Who the enemies of the nation of Israel. Verse 3, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord Yahweh shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou hast made to serve, right? So we will soon be able to rest, and not be sorrowful, right? Not be stressed out, not be mourning, right? However you want to put it, right? We ain't gonna have to do that hard bondage anymore. Never have to be scared or fear anything and anyone anymore, right? Because we're going to be on top. We're going to be the rulers, right? We're going to have all the authority, all the power, right? And it's going to be ran the righteous way. It's going to be ran the righteous way, man. I'm going to finish off with the classic, right? Revelation 13:10, right? And it reads, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity, man. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword, man. This. And I'm going to just take this out on Esau just because they don't want to do this verse. How it says, he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Right? And isn't Esau blessings the sword? So he's going to be killed with his own blessing, man. He's going to be killed and destroyed with his own blessing. We talked about America. Then after that, after his time up serving us, guess what? They ass going extinct, man. Ain't no more Edomites walking around the earth. Because y'all so damn wicked, man. And that's what y'all asses get, right? Y'all done did so much wicked shit that y'all ass got to go extinct, man. And we won't have to show no mercy upon y'all ass, not whatsoever, man. We ain't showing y'all no mercy, man. So we go remember what y'all did to our people, man. Turn our people to furniture, eating us, right? Graping our women, right? Man, it's a long ass list I can get what these damn devils done did to our people, man. And therefore they have to pay, man. These devils have to pay. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts. Ain't no those our fathers. Ain't no none of that, man. All y'all gonna have to pay for that shit, man. For real. He that leadeth to captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints, man. Lord willing, this was a, quick and edifying lesson. Right? Once again, Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Kakudash. Until next time, Shalom.